Alright YouTube, this is part 2 of my video review of the iMac, and this time I'm going to be looking at the software. Okay, so what comes in the box? Well, basically you have OS X Leopard, is what came in the box of my system, and iLife 08. Now, just have a look at OS X Leopard first. Some of the features that I make a lot of use of are spaces. Admittedly not as much as I could do, but it's really helpful for just keeping things tidy on my desktop. It is a feature that's been in Linux for a while. It's something that's extremely useful, and it's something that Windows sadly doesn't seem to have. Time Machine is the backup facility, and actually over the last 6 months I don't think there's been a day that I haven't just let that run its course. It literally just backs everything up. I know that everything's going to be secure. It's really good, particularly because I'm not the best at actively doing backing up of stuff. So for it to just do it, and I know that it's there, and I know that if I have a problem, everything's on my external drive, is peace of mind really, more than anything else. Spotlight, now this is probably one of my favourite features. It means I have such a tidy dock because I don't need to put loads of stuff in it. I literally just click on the magnifying glass in the top right corner, type in what application I'm looking for. It comes up straight away. I mean, usually within 3 or 4 characters at most, and I can launch it from there, and it's just really quick and easy. Now, Expose, this really is my favourite feature. It is absolutely brilliant. I have it set up so I just squeeze my mouse and all the windows zoom out and they spray out across the page, and all that sort of thing, and you can switch between windows just by clicking on them. I just love the feature, and I know this sounds really sad, but when I'm at work using Windows, I keep kind of squeezing whatever mouse is there to try and switch between windows, and it doesn't work, and then I realise, oh yes, I'm using Windows. Now, Stacks is another feature that I have used quite a bit actually. You have your documents and download stacks, which really do see a lot of use on an almost daily basis for me. But I've also created 2 more. One of them is full of shortcuts to my games, so like Quake 3 and Call of Duty 2 and all that are all in that stack. But I also created one for the first and last train timetables for London Underground. It's a feature that I find quite useful, just to be able to know when the trains are, and to have it all in a single stack that I just click, it fans out, and I can go, oh yes, there we go, Piccadilly line, let's open that up, and it's all happy days. Now, Mail is probably about 2-3 days, something like that, after I got my iMac, became my default Mail application without any sort of qualms, because it just works so well. It's tidy, it's well thought out. To be able to just drag stuff in and it just displays it in such an elegant way, it's a superb piece of software and highly recommended. Address Book and iCal, they both get used quite a bit. They're just tidy applications, they link together really well. And actually iCal, Address Book and Mail make up what I used in Outlook when I was using Windows. And I mean, Outlook's a great piece of software, it really is, and I used to live by it, but the fact that I have these alternatives in OS X are just brilliant. So there's the dock as well. Now the dock, it's really tidy. It's just, I've got so used to using it now that actually I find going back to a taskbar in Windows a little sort of tedious. I guess because everything's not there, it's not displayed, and it's not how I want it set up. It's surprisingly powerful. Now, in terms of installing software, I've actually found it really easy, because you've got 2 basic ways to install. It's the drag and drop, or you've got the sort of installer that's probably a bit more like a Windows installer. But the fact you've got to put your password in and stuff, extra level security, is really helpful. Now, the memory management in OS X is just staggering. It really is. I have 1 gig of RAM, as I've said before, and the fact that I just basically run so many applications, even with Parallels and Windows running in it, and don't really have any real serious system slowdown, is a real testament to the robustness of the code. and Boot Camp as well. It's easy to use. I've been using it really just for the odd Windows game and stuff like that. Excellent feature. Now let's go on to iLife. GarageBand, iDVD and iWeb I haven't really used at all, to be quite honest with you. So I can't really review them. And this review is really about how I've seen the last 6 months. iPhoto I have made use of. All my holiday photos get imported into there, and you know, it's just a really nice piece of software. iMovie 08, now this is my absolute stable piece of software for making all my videos. Before I came to Mac, I'd never made a video or edited one or done anything. So for it to be as laid out as well as it is, and for day-to-day use, it's just every day I find a new little feature, just a little gem. Like when I did my outtakes video, I wanted to put music on the background, and I found that not only could I adjust the various volume levels and stuff, which I kind of expected, but I could actually chop sections out of the music to loop it together and stuff like that. And yeah, very, very nice piece of software. I think it's very underrated. To have it in the box is without doubt a real bonus. And Safari, well, I'm using that now as my default web browser. I used to use Firefox all the time, but since the upgrade to Firefox 3, I've actually found I prefer Safari. It's nice to have such a well-featured browser in the box at the time that you open it, and it's kind of laid there until literally the last month or so, and now it's seeing a lot of use. So there you go. Now out the box, the software that you get is really good. You probably find that you need an Office suite fairly quickly, because you only have 30-day trials of iWork and Microsoft Office, and you know that's not enough really. So you know, probably do what I did, which is, you know, replace both of those with the actual versions very quickly. Microsoft Office is not cheap though, unfortunately. But there you go. OS 10 really does work out of the box. I had a few stability and slow down and all sorts of issues with it when I first got it, as I think most people did. But the patches that have come out, you know, and all this stuff, the security fixes, bug fixes, have actually resolved a lot of the issues. So I'm actually finding it just a stable, reliable workhorse system. You know, I can set my watch by it and it's great. The operating system, it feels natural, and I actually find it hard to imagine going back to Windows. I've just gotten so used to it, and it's just so intuitive, and it's very tidy, and it's just hard to imagine going back to Windows. It really is. So yeah, ultimately, would I recommend an iMac to someone looking to buy a new computer? Yes, I would actually. I would say if you're a gamer, if you're into your games and you know all the latest and everything like that, then it's probably not the system for you. You know, I have no bones about saying that. But if you want a day-to-day system, if you want a system for multimedia, if you want basically to make movies and stuff like that, this is a great place to start. It's a fantastic system, and it will just handle whatever you throw at it. And the processor speeds now are a lot faster than they are in my system, and to be honest, it will just chomp through it all. It's absolutely superb. So yeah, I mean, obviously it has its foibles, and there's still some bugs in Leopard that occasionally rear their heads, but you know, it's well worth the money. So there you go. That's it. That's my video review in 2 parts for my iMac after 6 months of use. Head on over to my website, www.prodigy.co.uk. You can leave me comments and messages at the video. You can also sign up to my forums on my website, and if you have any questions, you can email me questions@prodigy.co.uk. Alright, that's it. Thanks.